Hey guys, welcome to lecture part 3. This is part 3 of motivation and emotion. Today we're going to talk about social motivations. So hunger, the last video that we did, hunger shows us how essentially biology motivates us, right? When your cells get low on water, you get thirsty. When your cells get low on energy, you get hungry. But obviously your mind has something to do with it as well, and even social events as well. You could get outside pressure from the people and folks around you. So a name you probably want to know is David McClelland, and he basically came up with the idea that we have 3 fundamental psychological needs. Need for achievement, need for affiliation, and need for power. Let's look at what those things are. All right, so the first one's need for achievement, or the achievement motivation. So what is need for achievement? The desire to set challenging but attainable goals and to persist in trying to reach those goals despite obstacles, frustrations, and setbacks. It's the reason you want to win that sport you play at. It's the reason you want to get the best grade in class. You want to achieve. You want to be the best. So what do? You set goals for yourself that are hard, right? If you set easy goals, if my goal is to be a great soccer player and what's my goal? I want to be a great soccer player, so how do I do that? Well, if I just make my goal, well, today I'm just going to go out and stand in the lawn, well, I'm never going to be a great soccer player doing that. I have to pick hard goals. I have to pick stuff that's going to challenge me. And when I have setbacks, I'm going to keep moving forward. So look at this little guy, right? He's got badges, a whole lot of badges. He also looks like he's a Children of the Corn, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, that dude is an achiever. And for years, I thought he must be like a Cub Scout or a Boy Scout or something. It's like, no, he's just been to a lot of national parks. And apparently you get those for going to national parks. So he is a National Park Service Junior Ranger. All right? So what is the achievement goal? Strong desire to succeed in achieving your goals. Okay? Generally, folks with the achievement need, they want feedback. They want people to grade them. They want people to test them. They want to show people, hey, I really am good. Okay? They choose realistic and challenging goals. Once again, you pick goals that aren't too hard or not too easy. You pick goals that are doable. Folks with a fear of failure often choose very easy or almost impossible tasks. Why might this be? Well, think of fear of failure is, if need for achievement is, I'm going to run a race with 8 people, need for achievement is, I want to win and come in first. Fear of failure is the flip side of that coin. It says, well, if I'm in a race with 8 people, I just don't want to come in last. So if you think about someone who has a fear of failure, I don't want to come in last, why would they pick really easy goals? Well, if they pick a very easy goal and they do it, they can say, hey, look, I'm achieving. If they pick an impossible goal, think about that. Why would you pick an impossible goal if you have a fear of failure? Doesn't really make sense at first blush, does it? But if you really think about it, why do they pick an impossible goal? Because when they fail, whose fault is it? It's not my fault anymore. I picked the impossible goal. There's no one could have done that. And so I don't feel bad about failing just like anyone else would have. All right? So need for achievement leads generally to our natural enjoyment of competition. Humans like to compete. We like to compete in anything, right? Whether it's running or video games or you name it, swimming. You name an activity, somebody out there wants to be the best at it. Whether it's Call of Duty or it's, swimming across the lake. Someone wants to be first, best. All right? The other thing you need, notice in the description or the definition there, persistence, right? You also need persistence. So let's look, here's a persistent person for you. Now this is one of the odder videos I'm going to show you guys throughout the year. But I definitely would say this dude is persistent. Oh, well, first of all, we need to make it much bigger. All right, so here's what's going on. The video is terrible quality, and it's not just because I'm taping this on a phone and it's all like not all that well made. This is CC footage, so it's from a surveillance camera, and then it's not even directly from the surveillance camera. It's some dude with a like 1999 phone taping the TV off a surveillance camera in a security room. So here's a young man. He is breaking into a school. There we go. Oddly enough, he's not our main character. Our main character should be entering the frame any moment now. There he is. All right, so once again, I apologize for the video quality, not much I can do about it, but he's gonna break into the school too, and they're gonna do some mischief, I would guess, right? So here we go, he's climbed up the side of the building, good job. Guy in a stripy shirt. Probably wondering, what does this video have to do with persistence? Well, here we go. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. He fell through the roof. And his friend has abandoned him and just kept on going, doesn't even know his buddy fell through the roof. No. But look, he's persistent. He doesn't give up. He keeps going. He keeps trying. He's motivated. He's going to get in that school. Good job, buddy. There we go. He's almost there. Oh, you got it. Oh, no. Not good enough. He's going to have to do better. He's now trapped. Got to find a way out. Come on, man. There we go. He's up again. Try number 3. All right. He's figuring it out, okay? He doesn't have the body strength or the arm strength to quite pull himself up, but he's doing better. Oh, he almost had 1 foot up. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Almost. Get a foot up. There you go. He's almost got a foot. There we go. Aww. And he falls through again. So he's persistent. Stupid, but persistent, right? He doesn't give up. He just keeps going and going and going. There we go. So, if you have a need for achievement, you tend to have challenging goals and you tend to be persistent. You keep trying over and over and over again. All right? So what should I do if I have a need for achievement? Well, pick a job where you get graded and scored, right? All right, so how do you measure the achievement motivation? Well, we've talked about these a little bit earlier in the year in the personality chapter, but when you want to look into someone's mind, it's quite difficult, right? You can ask them, hey, what do you feel or what do you believe? But it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to be able to tell you, even if they want to tell you. Sometimes things are just kind of below a level, they could be in your unconscious or your subconscious, but sometimes it's just people don't even realize how they act. So one way you can do it is with something called a TAT. TAT, or a thematic apperception test, is simply, I'm going to give you a neutral stimulus. It's usually a picture with some people in it doing kind of random activities. And then I'm going to have you write a story about what they're doing. Think of this as it's basically like the ink blot test, only on steroids. It's a little bit more powerful. It's a little bit more directed. Where the ink blot test is very all over the place, this is a little more focused. And so what we're going to do is I show you the neutral stimulus, and then we look for certain things. Why did you tell the story you told? Why did you pick the topics you talked about? All these things lead us to an understanding of, for example, in this case, how much achievement do you have? All right? One of the classic ones we do is this one right here. So you see it's a man and a woman. That's very clear and unambiguous. But then what's going on? What's their story? Well, the story you come up with would give your psychologist a chance to essentially grade you and try to understand what's going on in your head better. There's another one right there. Okay? So what's going on with these two women? What's their relationship? Who are they? I had somebody once say, it's the same woman. The one is the younger version and the other one's the older version looking back on her younger life. And there's no wrong answer, right? You can tell any story you want, but the story you tell will give us some information essentially about what's going on inside your head, right? So the idea is that a TAT is going to reveal personal motives and traits that you might not even be aware that you have, okay? Now, obviously, this is incredibly subjective, right? It's not locked in stone. It's not set in lead. It's an idea about what you're thinking, and that's the best we can do with this sort of thing. All right, so what are people like that score high in achievement? They tend to be hard workers, and they tend to be very persistent on their tasks. Well, that makes sense, right? They tend to handle negative feedback better because then that leads them, they like criticism so they can learn how to improve. So they see criticism just that, as criticism, not as someone making fun of them or ripping on them or making life difficult for them, but hey, I want to do better next time. Okay? They're more likely to delay gratification in order to pursue long-term goals. Okay, think about the marshmallow test. We talked about that earlier in the year. But the idea that I'm going to work hard today to get something tomorrow, right? Think about, probably the hardest thing in the world to do is to go to the gym and work out. And because the gains you get take days, weeks, months to achieve. And sometimes even then, the gains you get are very small. And so on a day-to-day basis, you go to the gym and you're like, wow, I really don't see anything happening. But if you're able to delay that gratification, eventually you'll get to your long-term goal of being a little bit better in shape. Okay? Generally, folks with the achievement motivation tend to pick careers and life goals that are competitive. They can compare themselves easily to other people. All right, need for affiliation. Need for affiliation is our desire to maintain social relationships, to have friends, to have people to hang out with, to have associates and affiliates, people you want to. So it's the desire for humans to bond with each other, right? We are social creatures. Hey, let's face it, we live on a big planet. There's room for all of us to spread out and be all by ourselves, kind of like we are right now. And we could do that, but we choose not to because generally we all like having other people around. So the need for affiliation is our need to form social bonds, okay? So being a good team player, wanting people to like you, wanting to fit in with the group, right? It can also be a need for intimacy, that idea, not necessarily physical or sexual intimacy, but the idea of emotional intimacy. Having a relationship with someone that is very open, where you can really tell them anything you want, right? The idea that you don't have to put a mask up for them. Think about what school is. For many folks, school is, all right, I'm going to school today. I'm going to hang out with hundreds and hundreds of people. What do I need to do? I need to put my nice clothes on. I need to put my makeup on. I need to be the coolest version of myself. And if I had intimacy with more people, then I wouldn't have to have my guard up maybe so hard. I can let my guard down and tell them how I really feel about things. For many people, that's an incredibly powerful motivation, right? Generally, the need for social belonging is a good thing, right? Having friends and fitting in is generally a good thing, but it's, it can be a negative as well if you look at, it can lead to some issues. For example, high conformity, everyone acting the same. Everyone listening to the same music, having the same friends, wearing the same clothes, right? You see this extremely in high school and college, right? People want to fit in, so what do? They act like the other people, the group they want to fit in with. They're going to dress like them, talk like them, listen to the music they do. And it seems kind of silly, right? But what's the standard college girl outfit? I noticed this a couple years ago. I go to Michigan for football games, right? I have season tickets. I still go up basically every fall. And when it gets cooler, I noticed all the girls wore the exact same outfit. So think about it. Think about it on your own right now. If I said a 20-year-old college girl at the University of Michigan is walking towards you, describe what she's wearing. And with no information at all, I bet you do pretty well. Think about what's she wearing on her feet. What kind of pants does she have on? What kind of a top is she wearing? What's in her hand, right? All these things you probably know, right? She's wearing Ugg boots. Though Uggs are kind of fading away a little bit, right? She's wearing some kind of yoga pants. She's probably got a sweatshirt on, right? If it's colder, she's wearing a jacket. What kind of jacket is it? It's a North Face, right? What color is it? It's probably black, right? There's a whole list of things you can come up with that is the standard outfit of young women in college, right? That they just have chosen to wear. It's not like they all had a meeting one day, hey guys, this is what we're gonna wear for the next 20 years. It's people wanna fit in, so what do? They wear what everybody else wears. This is a joke. This is from The Onion, that kind of funny website where they have fake news. Here's some fake news for you, making fun of this idea that all college people kind of act the same.
Police in Columbus say they are no closer to tracking down Jessica Hagan, the Ohio State sophomore and member of Kappa Alpha Theta sorority, who was reported missing 10 days ago. After releasing a description of Jessica, who was last seen wearing a tank top, Ugg boots, and blue Victoria's Secret pajama pants with the word pink written across the back, authorities received over 13,000 tips, all of which have only led police to other students matching that exact description. Authorities issued a more detailed profile earlier today in the hopes of narrowing down the search.
Jessica has artificially whitened teeth, frequents college bars in the area, and has a small tattoo of a cross on her foot, even though she isn't really religious. Sorry, this is not helpful at all.
Authorities have also learned that Miss Hagan responds to Jessica, but really gets mad if you call her Jessie. This new information has helped narrow the search to 12,386 leads and has helped police in sorting through the hundreds of girls who have turned themselves in thinking they might be Jessica.
I saw on the news that they were looking for a nutritional sciences major who has side bangs and loves America's Next Top Model. So I called the police and I told them that I was fine. I just keep thinking that could have been me. Was it?
The social committee from Jessica's sorority spoke to reporters this week showing their support for their missing sister.
Jessica, we love you.
Now, police are following the latest lead as several witnessed Jessica with a fellow student at Ohio State. Either this man, or this man. Police hope to aid the search by releasing Jessica's complete DNA sequence by next week, saying, quote, at a certain point, it literally becomes the only way to tell.
All right. Yes, and my point would be, usually at this point I talk to you guys about hunter boots, but let's face it, it's not really relevant to what we're doing. All right, so suggested job. Well, these folks want to get along with people, right? They want to have good, positive interactions with other people. So they'd be good at something where they're involved with customers or clients, right? They're good, neutral interactors are good with people. So need for power. Before I show this slide, I'd just like to make a comment that this slide is in no way political. This slide was made like 11 years ago, where certain people in the slide were not president of the United States. All right, so they want to influence and impact other people. I want power. I want to run things. They have a very powerful drive and motivation to run things. So think Caesar Augustus, right? The guy who becomes emperor of Rome. He's a great drive for need to be the leader. I want to be influenced. I want to impact. I want to run things, okay? They tend to crave status and prestige. They want people to know who they are. They want people to think they're important, right? Okay? They want their ideas used even if they aren't the best, right? Once again, if they're gonna run things, they want people to use their ideas. Think about groups you've been in at school, right? You get in a group, and sometimes someone in that group, even if they don't have the best ideas, they end up running things just through force of personality, that they're like, this is the way we're gonna do it. And even if their ideas are terrible, sometimes you do it that way just because it's easier just to go along with that, right? These folks often equate money with achievement, in that, you know, I'm gonna show off, I wanna show people that I have status, that I am special. Well, how do I do that? I'm going to show them that I do that by having more money than you. I'm going to show off that money and let everybody know how rich I am. And that's where Donald Trump comes in. Now, before he was president of the United States, he was a businessman. But the point is, there are lots of business people in the United States who are very, very wealthy, and you don't know their names, right? But we knew Donald Trump's name. Why did you know Donald Trump's name? He was a real estate dude from New York City. Why would anyone know his name? Well, he went out of his way to get his name out there. He wasn't just a rich guy. He was a rich guy that wanted to be famous. He was in Home Alone. He was putting his name on everything. There was Trump Tower and Trump this and Trump University and Trump everything, right? He wanted to be famous. He wanted people to see that he was a high achiever, that he had high status, that he had high prestige. All right? So suggested job for these folks, they make good managers, right? They like to run things. All right. So then we get to Carol Dweck. Carol Dweck looks at the self-theory of motivation. Her big thing, if I say Carol Dweck, you want to say locus of control. Locus of control is the idea of how much do I feel like I'm controlling my own life, right? So if I have internal locus of control, I feel like I am the driver and motivator behind everything that happens in my life. The things that happen to me in my life are the result of my actions. That's internal locus of control. External locus of control, on the other hand, those people feel like no matter what they do, life happens to them, okay? So if I have external locus of control, I'm saying that I walk through life, and whether I'm a good person or a bad person or a motivated person or a lazy person, life's gonna happen to me, and I don't have control. So internal locus of control, people tend to, they focus on effort. If I work hard, I'm gonna succeed. They feel like intelligence is changeable, right? If I work hard, I'm gonna get smarter, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get, I tend to be more motivated. People with external locus of control tend to focus more on ability, like you're born that way. You're either super talented or you're not, right? They tend to lack persistence. Their expectations are a little bit lower as well, because they just expect, well, no matter what I do, life is gonna happen to me. And so these folks also tend to be more prone to learn helplessness, all right? Locus of control seems to be gender neutral, so it's not like men or women necessarily have more one than the other, but you do see that certain cultures, for example, American culture tends to be more internal, for example. They did some research versus Japan where they seem to be more external. And it's not like either one is better or worse, it's just a different way of kind of understanding the world. So more about internal versus external. Sometimes we have internal motivations, right? Sometimes we have extrinsic motivations. An extrinsic motivation is an action I do because something outside of me got me to do it, right? So if someone gives me $100 to do something, then that is an extrinsic motivation. It's not coming from me, it's coming from outside of me, okay? Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, is something that is coming, like, why do I play sports? Well, I love to play sports, or I love to play soccer. That's why I play. I love to play volleyball. Okay, why do I play it? Because I love to do it. No one paid me to do it. I might even have to pay someone to play it. But if it comes from inside of you, that is intrinsic motivation. Okay? Closely related to this is something called the overjustification effect. And it's a funny word and it's a funny term that often shows up on AP tests. I'm not sure why, but they like asking about this one, so I definitely would kind of highlight it in your notes. Oddly enough, if you have intrinsic, internal motivation to do something, and then someone comes along and gives you extrinsic, an external reason to do that thing, often your motivation goes down, which seems completely bizarre. But for example, if you think of people that get paid to play sports, either a college scholarship or they get paid to play professionally, they often describe how their motivation goes down, that they used to do it for the love, right? I love to play football, I love to play basketball, and it's so much, it's so enjoyable. But the minute they get paid, all of a sudden now it's a job and it's just not very fun anymore. So overjustification is the idea when you have intrinsic motivation, someone gives you extrinsic motivation, your overall motivation tends to go down. All right. So what motivates us to work? Intrinsic versus extrinsic. So we have intrinsic if we want to do it ourselves. We get rewards internally. We get enjoyment and satisfaction from succeeding, from doing well. Okay? Intrinsic motivators tend to do better in the long run, right? Versus extrinsic motivators, they rewards we get from outside of ourselves. Money, success, grades, stuff that's not inside you. That stuff outside of you, it can be a good motivator and it can get you to succeed, but internal motivation does tend to work better in the end. And wow, I don't know where I got all these little cartoons, but they're just wonderful, aren't they? All right. Extrinsic motivators, though, can work well in the short run where, if you offer someone a bonus, hey, if you stay late to work today, I'll pay you a little bit extra today, something like that. So yeah, in the short run, they can work, but generally intrinsic over the long run is going to work better. And that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this one. We have just a little bit left. We're done with motivation. We're going to switch over to emotion. And that stuff will be posted in the next couple days. Check Schoology. The schedule is up there.